In California last night, voters rejected Proposition 19, which would have effectively legalized pot in that state. The measure lost by 8 points. California voters also rejected Proposition 23. That was the bill backed by the out-of-state oil companies to try to block California's environmental laws. That said, Californians approved another corporate-backed proposition that had been deemed Proposition 23's evil twin. It was Prop 26. It will make it all but impossible for the legislature to assess fees on businesses to pay for the kind of stuff that those fees pay for at the state level, stuff like health laws and environmental laws. Big business very excited about that. Also in California, I feel I should tell you that Democratic State Senator Jenny Oropeza was voted back into the state Senate. That is news because Senator Oropeza died last month. If the results stand, voters will fill her seat through a special election now. In Colorado, voters rejected an attempt to define a zygote as a person. The personhood amendment was an anti-abortion thing. These were the folks who said you should vote for the fertilized egg is a person measure because President Obama is secretly the angel of death. They weren't kidding. Colorado voters also rejected a proposed commission to talk to aliens, as in extraterrestrials, arriving on UFOs. Voters said no to that. Colorado also said no to 3 separate scorched earth anti-tax ballot questions that would have essentially strangled all of the revenue out of state government. Voters in Massachusetts said no to the same kind of very radical anti-tax measure in that state. In Iowa, anti-gay activists from outside the state spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on a successful campaign to oust 3 of Iowa's Supreme Court justices. They're justices who joined the court's unanimous decision in favor of same-sex marriage rights last year. The anti-gay groups who crusaded against the judges say they want the Iowa campaign to be seen as a political threat against judges around the country who dare rule in favor of gay rights. That said, Lexington, Kentucky elected its first ever openly gay mayor yesterday. In Rhode Island, Democrat David Cicilline last night was elected to be the 4th openly gay member of Congress. In South Carolina, Republican Tim Scott is the first African-American elected in that state since Reconstruction. He is also the first African-American Republican in Congress from anywhere since the year 2003. Also, South Carolina's new Republican governor, Nikki Haley, is now the 2nd Indian-American governor in the country. You will be relieved to note that in Oklahoma, the people there are safe now from Sharia law. This seriously was up for a vote, and seriously it passed. It's a measure that preemptively bans Oklahoma's courts from considering Sharia law when it makes its rulings, just in case you know they're ever tempted to do so. The Sharia in Oklahoma. It also bans Oklahoma courts from considering anything foreign at all in its rulings, which is going to be a real problem the next time a judge in Oklahoma wants to reference, say, an eye for an eye, or the 10 Commandments, or habeas corpus. That totally sounds foreign. The state of Rhode Island narrowly avoided being renamed the state of Rhode Island last night after voters rejected that proposed name change. The state will still officially be known as the state of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations. The state thought about it, they deliberated, and they've decided they are keeping the plantations bit in the name of the state. 2 last quick notes for you. First, in Missouri, voters approved restrictions on dog breeders in an effort to crack down on the state's massive puppy mills. Score 1 for puppies. And in Kansas, in the home county of Carrie Nation, one of my least favorite American historical figures of all time, the self-righteous, self-promoting, mallet-wielding, saloon destroyer and prohibition champion of the late 1800s and early 1900s, Kansas voters approved a measure allowing people to buy individual alcoholic drinks, like most Americans do, in bars, by the drink, one at a time. That's a first. Carrie Nation is rolling over in her grave, I'm sure.